Advanced Surfaces presents a unique step-by-step training video to show you how to apply textured concrete. Textured concrete is concrete that is textured to create designs, change the color or the texture of the existing concrete. You can add color and beauty to pool decks and driveways and create unique designs for entryways, courtyards, and patios. Step 1. Check tools and supplies. Check your equipment and tools to ensure everything is clean and in good working condition. Replace any tools at this time. Make sure that you have the proper tools and materials to comply with local standards, and purchase enough materials that you will need to complete the job properly. You will need the following tools and materials. Tools: texture unit, mud mixer, used to mix the deck mix, deck shoes, to keep you above the surface when troweling, trowel, use a light troweling method, heavy-duty drill with extension cord, buckets, concrete scraper, to remove rough edges after it's dry, rubbing stone, to remove texture imperfections, broom blower, to remove excess particles from the surface, sponges, craft paper, masking tape, filament tape. The deck material you will need: advanced deck mix, available in 14 colors, super concentrated deck resin, clear or pigmented sealer, retarder and/or accelerator, water. Step 2. Measurements. Take the proper measurements and make any adjustments prior to starting the job. If you need more materials, purchase them before you begin the job. Step 3. Surface preparation. Thoroughly clean the surface where you will be applying the texture mix. Remove any dirt, oil, or stains. You may want to apply a mild acid wash to the concrete prior to applying the TextureDeck surface. You can start your texture process while the surface is still wet, providing there is no standing puddles of water. When temperatures are extremely hot, you may want to mist the deck prior to texturing. Step 4. Prepare surroundings. Next, use craft paper or plastic with masking tape to cover and protect all surrounding areas of the house, foliage, or any other areas where you do not want overspray. Step 5. Prepare the texture mixture. 5 gallons of the super concentrated deck resin will yield 15 gallons of resin mix when combined with 10 gallons of water. This is enough resin to mix 10 bags of deck mix. Advanced deck mix is packaged in 50-pound bags and is available in 14 colors. When mixed with the resin, this will allow you to shoot approximately 150 square feet of texture and 80 to 100 square feet when troweling a skim coat. Keep your deck mix, super concentrated deck resin, and water supply in a shaded area away from direct sun or excessive heat. Make sure that you have a water supply and avoid having the hose lay in the sun. If you do, remember you will have 50 foot of hot water that you will be shooting into your resin water mix along with your deck mix. This causes a chemical reaction to take place. Because it creates heat on its own, if you add hot water, you will expedite the setting of the deck mix. Mix 5 gallons of super concentrate deck resin with 10 gallons of cool water, which will yield 15 gallons of resin water mix. When working during extremely hot temperatures, you may want to add retarder to your super concentrated deck resin prior to mixing with water. This will give you additional time to work with your deck mix. In a separate clean bucket, pour approximately 1 to 1.5 gallons of this resin water mix and add 1/3 to 1/2 bag of deck mix. Using a heavy-duty variable speed drill with a paddle-type mud mixer, begin slowly mixing, adding the remainder of the deck mix. Mix thoroughly until you have achieved a pancake batter consistency. At this point, allow the mix to go into a false preset. This will take 4 to 10 minutes, adding small amounts of the resin mix and mixing again until you have achieved the original consistency. You are now ready to start applying the texture. Step 6. Apply the texture mixture. The technician who prepares the texture mixture should always continue to mix the entire job so that the mud spray is consistent. This also applies to the spray technician and troweler technician. Each technician has their individual method, and it's best the same method be used throughout the shoot. When the material begins to set, the trowel man will put on his cleats, or old golf shoes, to keep him above the spray until it has been knocked down. All troweling should be accomplished with a light trowel method, never a heavy pulling, like you would use with mortar or standard concrete. Remember, you are only dealing with a 1/16 inch texture, so you want to make sure that you are not pulling off the texture from the surface from the weight of a heavy trowel. Add the texture mix to the hopper sprayer. The spray technician should begin spraying in a smooth motion. This will eliminate any type of straight line dry joints. Remember to keep your pressure set somewhere between 12 and 16 psi. You may want to practice with different settings. The trowel technician should begin troweling once the mud has started to set, but is still plastic, walking backwards so as not to walk over areas they have just troweled. Keep your shooting on an even flow, so if you have to stop and start for any reason, you won't have a straight line cold joint develop. Continue shooting in the same pattern until you have completed the project. In many cases, the spray technician will only be a few feet in front of the troweler technician. The trowel technician can clean out areas such as saw cuts with a margin trowel, pulling through the cut areas. Step 7. Remove tape. The areas that are taped for a pattern. The trowel technician, who will be wearing cleats or golf shoes, needs to be very careful to not disrupt the tape that has been laid down for the pattern. If you are going to do a decorative design using a taped-on pattern, we suggest using our superior filament tapes in various sizes. Just before the deck mix is totally dry, pull up the tape to expose the unique pattern that you have created. Step 8. Remove protective craft paper. Once the deck is dry, you should remove any protective paper and begin preparing the deck for staining. Step 9. Remove imperfections. You must run a metal scraper or rubbing brick over the deck to remove any imperfections, and then either blow or sweep the deck thoroughly prior to staining. Do not pressure wash. Step 10. Apply the stain. Roll on the first coat of stain evenly and allow to dry. You may apply a second coat when the deck is dry to the touch, and avoid foot traffic for 24 hours. and vehicular traffic for a minimum of 48 hours. Step 11. Cleanup. Always clean your tools immediately after you have completed the job. This will keep your tools in good working condition for your next project.